Hello, hi everyone. This is Shishikant here, and this is our first session on uh, our new asset management system or digital asset management solution. Uh, we will first introduce the section of how the user authentication and authorization happens, what is the normal process, and then we'll also go through the demo. So, first thing is like what is the main purpose of this asset management system? Most of the asset management solutions or the digital asset management systems like open text or Adobe solutions used to provide you the management of how the images or the videos can be stored, organized, categorized, and how the lifecycle management can be done. So we are currently trying to make a in-house solution uh, for managing these digital assets. And as one first part of it, we need to have the users which are categorized into a different roles, and based on those roles, they should have authentication and authorizations. So in this section, we will cover most of those parts. So let me start first with the what is the process of user authentication authorization here. So here by default, the basic authentication authorization is like if you have an existing user with some username password, then as we go along, we will just do it and show it on the tool. So the demo is going in parallel. So here we already have a user called admin at admin.com, and then once we log in, then we can access and go inside the dashboard. Now in the dashboard we have some certain users already configured, and then uh, we can see that this user has the reader access. This dashboard is a bit of common for all the listed indexes here, and the behavior is very uniform. So you can either see it in the grid view or you can see the tabular view. In the tabular view, you can see the first user. This is admin at admin.com. It is specific to a particular brand. It is enabled, and it's an internal user having all the admin access. So we have three kinds of roles for the users. One, either the user can be an administrator, or the user can be a contributor, which can add and create assets in the system. And then we have readers, those who just have the access to read the assets. So this is basically the authorization categories for the users. So what we will do now is we will first show you how to sign up for the user and what is the mechanism for it. So a user once tries to sign up, they have to provide their username, where the username is the email ID of the user. Here I have one of the configured user, one of the user email ID I have, and I'm gonna provide one password for this, and I'll repeat that password for myself. So it is admin at 123 here with this new user into our system, and then I do the sign up. So once you do the sign up, the process says that the request goes to the administrator, and then the request also goes to the user who is doing the sign up, and then you can see in the email that the user has got the request. For example, if I just share my screen here, this is one of my administrative user where I got the user approval request which is pending for this particular user. It is currently assigned no brands, and it has the default reader authority by default, that's the minimum one, but because it's not enabled, so the user cannot even log in. So once I get this intimation here, then let me now log in using the administrative login. So this is my admin at admin.com, something like this, and then I log in, and then I can see in this user list I have one user which is this one having no brands. It's not enabled, it's not an internal user, and the default is reader. So then to provide this user an access to my system, I will first uh, give the brand for which this user should have access to. For example, I choose Orchid. Then I'll mention whether it is an internal user or not, and then it is enabled or not, and then whatever the authority it has. So I can update the authority, but I'll keep it to reader for now. Once I submit this request goes in, and then the user here is being enabled, which means that again the request will go to the user that you are enabled, and then you can go ahead and create. You are able to log in. So let us try to log out and log in again using that user. This was our user, and admin at 123 was our password. Let us check this one whether the user is able to log in now. Yes, the user is able to log in now, and the user has the read access, so it can see all the users. Let's take a look at the workspaces created. So because this was an Arcade user, by default, once you log in, for all the brands, you are allowed to access one private workspace will be created for you. So that's why by default the system has generated one private workspace for this user. Uh, and so this is how the user gets the access to the system. Now let me show you another way of how the user can also access the system if the user doesn't want to sign up like a normal user. In that case, if you have any account on Facebook, Google, GitHub, or Azure, you can also sign and get authorization using OAuth authentication, and for which the application simply gets the permission for getting uh, the user email as one of the uh, authentication mechanism, and then authorize. So if I just click over here, internally it goes into my GitHub account, and then allowed me to log into the system, and then I can see that I have access to more workspaces compared to the other user. Maybe just to show you that the whole mechanism how it works, let me open this in incognito, and then here I can click over here, and then you can see that here I have to provide my GitHub credentials and then sign in, and then the request goes to the GitHub AD, and from there I get access to my resources. So that is for all for today in this section. How what the asset management system is, what we are going to how we are going to access it, the different users, what are different mechanisms to authenticate and authorize the users. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye.